Pierre Gasly.
Pierre Gasly.
Pierre Gasly!
Can Pierre Gasly save his Formula One career? From an exciting young talent to a disappointing second driver, to a driven redemption story, and now a meh driver? A good driver, an amazing driver, I don't know. Pierre Gasly's career has been full of ups and full of downs. With the recent announcement that he'll be staying at AlphaTauri for 2023, I'm thinking, is this the right move for Pierre Gasly? I mean, he's shown that he's way better than a low midfield car, but why is he staying there? Why is he not moving to the main Red Bull team? Well, let's find out. In 2018, Pierre Gasly joined Formula One alongside Brendan Hartley. In his second race in Toro Rosso, he finished P4 in Bahrain. He had many other notable performances that year, but in 2019 he'd be called up to the main Red Bull team to partner Max Verstappen. Now of course, Max Verstappen is a generational talent, obviously a world champion, and probably the best of the best. So Pierre would have to try his best to hold his own against the Dutchman. But how would he do? Well, 2019 was an unbelievable year for Pierre Gasly. He absolutely dominated and of course won the 2019 Drivers' World Champion. He broke the record for having the most amount of wins in one season consecutively, scoring 15 wins in a row. Who am I kidding? The guy did awfully. He only outqualified Max once, and that was pretty lucky because Max was having a bit of a hard time in qualifying. And the average difference between the two in qualifying was almost half a second. Even Mazepin could sometimes do better than that, and that's saying something. And of course at Spa, Pierre got dropped back to Toro Rosso, and was replaced by my good friend Alex Albon. In Toro Rosso, Pierre went up against Daniel Kvyat, Max Verstappen's best friend, and he definitely didn't steal his kid or his girlfriend. And in Toro Rosso he did okay, nothing crazy. Yes, except he had that one standout performance in 2019 where, thanks to Alex Albon, Gasly would get on the podium for the first time in his Formula One career. Now yes, this was because of Lewis Hamilton's love for rear right Red Bull tyres, but he got a podium nonetheless. But unfortunately, this wasn't enough to show Red Bull that he deserved that seat for 2020. So Gasly stayed with the newly named AlphaTauri, hoping that he could do better this year. Now the Red Bull curse started coming towards Alex and ruining his performances, as they now started to look a lot like Pierre's from 2019. Alex seemed to struggle a lot against his younger and quicker teammate, and some people, including myself, thought that Alex could be dropped down to AlphaTauri and Pierre might actually get a second shot at their Red Bull seat. This was further reinforced in Italy, the land of pizza, Italians and Antonio Giovinazzi. And of course, Italy's most famous racetrack, Imola. Definitely not Monza. But let's talk about that one anyway. After a boring qualifying, the race was pretty good. Quickly off topic, can I just say, Monza is probably one of the greatest racetracks we've ever raced at. Now yes, the actual track itself is pretty simple, but the races we've had there are actually insane. Just think about it. 2021 we had Daniel Ricciardo's redemption for McLaren, and in 2020 we had Pierre's redemption for AlphaTauri as he won that race, spoiler alert. And then in 2019 we had Charles Leclerc's insane win. Okay, maybe they should change it from the Temple of Speed to the Temple of Redemption. Seems like every single driver who's pretty good, who's having a bad season, wins a race there. So maybe Lewis Hamilton will win this year, because you know he's having a bit of a stinker this year. Sorry Hamilton fans, it's true. Your boy is washed. Comments, please don't hate me. Now before I continue, let me ask you to consider subscribing. It's free, only takes a few seconds, and you can always unsubscribe later if you want. And while you're down there, why don't you follow me on Twitter, @CarsO'Connor. As I was saying, Charles Leclerc binned it into the barrier which brought out the red flag, and then Hamilton got a 10-second stop and go penalty, and this pretty much put Pierre Gasly and Lance Stroll on the front row. And then pretty much Lance Stroll made a mistake which put Pierre Gasly in the lead. But behind him was a charging driver. A driver that everyone fears. A ruthless driver. Yes it is, it's the one you know. I'm about to say it, the Spaniard that everyone loves. Or hates. But who is it? I'm gonna say it, Fernando Alonso. Nah, I'm kidding. It's Carlos Sainz, of course. And I was so sure that he was going to win and get his first maiden victory in Formula One. But of course, Carlos seems to be making a habit of, let's just say, being a bit slower when he's in second place. Obviously in Italy in 2020, he was almost there to get his win, but he was just a little bit slow. And then it happened last weekend in Montreal. He was almost at Max Verstappen, but just a little bit off the pace. So yes, Pierre won the Italian Grand Prix in 2020. And at the end of 2020, Red Bull dropped Alex Albon. And I was thinking, surely Pierre Gasly will be going there in 2021. But Red Bull made an odd decision. For the first time in like forever, they hired someone outside of their Red Bull driver academy, Sergio Checo Perez. And now Checo's been in Red Bull for about 1.5 seasons, and he's done an amazing job so far with his 2 wins he's gotten for the team and quite a few podiums. And in 2021, Pierre showed that he was the king of midfield, consistently getting a top 6 and getting some great results. He also looked good against his rookie teammate Yuki Tsunoda, who was struggling a little bit in the AlphaTauri. Now we knew Checo was going to stay at Red Bull for the following season, but that got a lot of people questioning. Was it a good decision on Red Bull's behalf to keep Pierre Gasly in that AlphaTauri? Now yes, AlphaTauri is a lower midfield team in my opinion, and they were keeping a very good driver who probably didn't deserve to be in a lower midfield team. And I'm sure Pierre didn't want to stay there because, let's be honest, no driver in AlphaTauri sees their future in AlphaTauri. They obviously want to go to the main Red Bull seat. But let's check in on Pierre Gasly's 2022 season so far. In Bahrain, he suffered from horrible reliability of that Red Bull powertrain, and in Saudi Arabia he got P8, which is decent for his first points of the year. In Australia he got more points with a P9 finish, but then we get to where it all goes wrong. In Imola he got no points, in Miami he DNF'd, in Spain he got 0 points, and in Monaco, guess what? He got 0 points. What a surprise! And yes, he did qualify P17 for this race. Pierre Gasly, king of the midfield, P17. But in Baku, he seemed to have turned his luck around. He finished P5, getting a whole bunch of points for himself and the AlphaTauri team, but then there's Canada and Montreal, and again, he got out with a Q1 exit and scored 0 points. So what's going on with Pierre Gasly? How has he gone from a top of the midfield driver to barely getting any points every single race? Now, a lot of this has been due to his bad luck. Like I said, in Bahrain, he was in the points before his engine blew up. In Miami, he was in the points, but then Alonso gave him a bit of a tap, and then his damaged car couldn't get him any points. In Spain, his car was also damaged from first lap contact with Esteban Ocon, meaning he had no pace during that entire race. But then in Monaco, he had an awful qualifying, but saying that, in the race, he went from P17 to P11 in Monaco. Now that's pretty good if I do say so myself. The problem with Pierre Gasly this season is that you're only as good as your last race, and this year his performances haven't been great. And on the topic of Helmut Marko, I think the way that Pierre Gasly saves his career is by moving out of the Red Bull Academy. Now let's be honest, Checo Perez signing a 2-year contract extension with Red Bull shows that Pierre is not going there anytime soon. And I'm sure Pierre doesn't want to be stuck there for another 2.5 seasons. Because AlphaTauri is not going to be winning any championships anytime soon, and that's what Pierre or any Formula 1 driver for that matter wants to do, win championships. Now obviously he signed with AlphaTauri for another year, but I think this was the wrong move for him. I guess it's all dependent on the likes of Vettel retiring or Hamilton, I don't know, but I think the likes of Mercedes would be interested in a Pierre Gasly type character. Yes, Nick de Vries is probably the ideal replacement for Hamilton at Mercedes, but he'd probably be a rookie when he joined, and having an experienced driver like Pierre Gasly would be good for Mercedes. Now I know a lot of people thought he might go to McLaren next year to replace Daniel Ricciardo if McLaren dropped him, but obviously that's not going to happen anymore. So here's what I think. Now I don't think it'll be next season, but I don't think it's a coincidence that Daniel Ricciardo's contract expires next year, and so does Pierre Gasly's new contract. So maybe Pierre had discussions with McLaren and they thought, let's keep Daniel for 1 more year, and then Gasly can come along and fill the seats. But Daniel is now left as a void. So in conclusion, Pierre Gasly's big problem is staying in that AlphaTauri seat. He's a very good driver, and I'm sure we can all agree on that. So why is he stuck in a low midfield team? But what do you think? Do you think he should stay in AlphaTauri, go to McLaren or somewhere else? Let me know in the comments below. Now if you enjoyed this one, be sure to check out this video on why Nicholas Latifi could be replaced by Oscar Piastri. Oh no, not Goat Tiffy. The goat's going. Be sure to check it out right now. Go on, click it. You got it. You know you want to.